This is the Marketing Minute with Eric Rhoads, author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Make More Money Selling Your Art, Proven Techniques to Turn Your Passion into Profit.
Marketing Minute, I answer your art marketing questions, or at least attempt to, and you can upload a video question to artmarketing.com/questions, or you can email them to me, eric@artmarketing.com, and give Amadine a break because she has to read them. Amadine, what's the first question?
The first question is from Thomas Michael Neiman from Pennsylvania. How do successful artists balance the need to continuously create and improve their craft and do all the necessary tasks required to sell their art?
Well, Thomas, that's a big loaded question. And listen, first off, there's no pressure to sell anything. And I think a lot of people think, well, that's the next step. That's what I'm supposed to do. You don't have to do that unless you have to do that. I mean, if you want to do it, you want to do it to make a living. There are a lot of ways to make a living. You don't have to do that. But if you decide you want to do it, the moment you decide that you're going to be selling your art, you are really deciding to make a commitment, and your commitment level needs to change. Instead of dabbling, you can dabble and sell art, right? You can sell, put a little show together and sell something a couple times a year and a little bit here and there. That's fine. That's dabbling. But if you really want to become a full-time successful artist supporting yourself, then there's a whole thing about that. I've got a series of videos just on that particular topic. And you have to accept the fact that if you're selling paintings to make a living, then you are a full-time artist. And when you're a full-time artist, you're running a small business. And like a lot of small businesses, myself included, when I first started, is you are the product, or the product maker, and the product business owner, right? So it's not unusual. Think about somebody who does something else. Let's just pick like a category like easels, right? So, you have an idea for an easel, you design it and you sell it and you make your own easels. You're out there in your wood shop making it. And then eventually you get enough demand that you can quit your other job so you can just do your products all day and make easels all day, every day. But, if you just made easels, but you didn't focus on how to sell those easels and how to make people aware of them, then you're not going to be able to succeed. So you have to find the balance. In a business, as an artist, you're wearing a lot of different hats, right? My dad always used to say this to me, some days you got to wear your accounting hat. Some days you got to wear your shipping hat. Some days you got to wear your negotiation hat or your sales hat. You got a lot of different things, your gallery hat. But you're never going to change. You're still an artist. You just have to develop muscles in other areas. And so, as an artist, of course, if you've done this, you're in the shipping business, you're in the framing business, you're in the marketing and sales business, because you've got to sell people on coming in and you got to pay the bills. And there's a whole lot of stuff you have to learn. But I like to create what I call time budgets. And it's a concept I use. I highly recommend it. And essentially, you start by making a list of everything that you have to do in a typical month. And you say to yourself, okay, I have to do shipping, and I have to do shipping once a week, and that's going to take me 2 hours. You budget 2 hours, and then you put a 2-hour block in your calendar, and you say, this is my shipping time. And you might have teaching. You have to set aside time for teaching. This is my teaching time. This is my marketing time. This is my accounting time. You have to figure out what those things are and what is it going to take. Now, you've got a problem though, and that is that you have to sell a certain number of paintings. Let's say that in order to meet your financial needs, that you have to put 30 paintings out the door every single month. Well, that means you got to do a painting a day. How realistic is that? I mean, some people can do it, some people can't do it, but do you really want to have to do a painting every day, or 2 paintings some days and take the weekends off? And if, let's say, you need 10 hours to do a painting and you got to do 30 of them a month, you don't have time. You got maybe 2 hours left to do something else, and that's already beyond an 8-hour day. So what you've got to do is you got to figure out how to become more efficient. And becoming more efficient is, how can I paint this painting faster? Well, maybe you can't. Some people can, some people can't. But if you can knock 2 hours off the process somehow, then that's 2 hours you're going to get back for relaxed time or for other types of work. But one of the things a way to overcome that is to figure out, how do I get my prices up? Because if I need a certain amount of income and I need to sell 30 paintings, what if I could only do 20 paintings, recapture all that extra time? And how much money do I need if I'm going to hit my numbers to do 20 paintings? And of course, you have to anticipate that if you do 20 paintings, not all 20 paintings are going to sell. How many are going to sell every single month? And how are you going to make that happen? That means you're blocking out time to devote to your sales and marketing, your advertising discussions, all of the things like that. So, anyway, it's all about figuring out how much time everything takes and allocating that time. And if you don't have enough time, then you got to figure out, either I got to get some help. And of course, if you get help, you've either got to get volunteer help or you got to have to pay for them. That means now your expenses are higher. You got to sell more artwork, or you got to get your prices up. And I think getting your prices up, most artists underprice their work, and that's a good place. The key to successful balance is to leverage, there's a word, leverage your business. For instance, if you get a gallery or two galleries or three galleries selling for you, now you don't have to do the selling. Now you still have to do branding and marketing because you want to keep that under your control. You want them to do it for you too, but that's going to help. You look for ways to get people to do things for you. Leverage is, getting somebody to help you out, to help you with your shipping. Or maybe you say to yourself, look, if I spend 10 hours painting, that's productive time. If I'm spending 5 hours on shipping, I'd be better off to pay somebody, $10 an hour or whatever to do that. It's probably not possible anymore. Anyway, being in business is not for the faint of heart, but guess what? It's a wonderful thing because it buys you freedom. You don't have to work for anyone. You got to work for yourself though, but it's still better because you don't have anybody screaming at you, at work, but you got to scream at yourself. You got to say, look, I got to get this done. I have to have this discipline because if I don't do it, I'm not going to be able to keep going. Anyway, all right. What's our next question, Amandine?
The next question is from Beth Carlson from Maine. I'm well known for one style and genre, but want to know how to market to a new preferred style. Do I start a new website? Lower prices because this is a new style and genre? What should I do?
Okay. So, Amandine, genre, I suppose, is a French word. You use that over there in France?
I do, and that's not how we say it. We say
How do you
genre.
say it in France?
Genre.
Jean.
Yes, with like
Okay.
the.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I
Terrific.
butchered it.
No, you didn't butcher it. All right. So we needed to know what it was. So good. So Beth, I would start by asking yourself, why do you want to launch a new style or a new genre, right? And there are really two reasons that I can think of. One is you're not making enough money with what you're doing now, and you think maybe changing things will make it better, or maybe you're just bored. All right. And either one is okay. There's no right or wrong, but let's address these before I get to your question. If you're not making enough money at what you're doing now, what makes you think something new and different is going to sell better once you're established? Because you still have to, if you do something new and different, you're going to have to build name recognition for that. You're going to have to build awareness. You're probably going to have to start at lower pricing. You're going to have to build up interest in that. And the amount of time that takes could take 2, 3, 4 years, right? Whereas you're already known in one particular area. Maybe if you just get a little more excited about that and pour gas on that, make that work, you're going to make more money with it. So that's one thing to consider. If you're bored, that's a whole another thing. If you're bored, you just want to try something different, or you don't want to do what you're doing now, there's nothing wrong. But if you are going to change your style, then are you going to drop the other? Or are you going to keep that going? And I look at that. If you're making money with one thing and you decide to drop it for another, you've lost an opportunity. How about you build that business, you figure out a way to keep it going, keep it generating income, and then launch something new and build that business, but don't give up one for the other. And the reality is that you can have a different pseudonym for yourself and have it be two different artists. I know a lot of artists who do this, and so they have one under their real name. They have a couple of different styles under different other names. They have different galleries selling their work because people like me get bored. Some days I want to do abstract, some days I want to do tight realism, some days I want to do impressionism. And I could, in theory, if I wanted to be aggressive enough, I could have different types of artworks going to different galleries, and that's okay. But where you get into trouble is if you're known, let's say you're known for landscape painting, and you decide all of a sudden I'm going to start doing abstract painting of portraits. Your audience isn't likely to want to buy it. Now they might. If you're really established, then you can start adding some new things and see how it goes. But if people go to your website for one thing and they see another thing, they get confused, they don't buy anything, that's a problem. You want to have that not happen. So anyway, if you decide you want to do this, if it's about being bored and just trying something different, yeah, you're going to have to figure out what your business strategy is going to be. How are you going to sell it? Yeah, it might be a new name. It might be the same name. It might be a new website. It's probably different ads. It's a whole lot of different things, and you just got to build it and grow it. But I would hang on to what's working. If it's not working, fix it first. If that doesn't work, try fixing it again. If that doesn't work, try fixing it again. If that doesn't work, then maybe try something new. But something new is sometimes going to be more problematic than just fixing something. So avoid confusion with your galleries and your followers, and make sure that you're not confusing the world. And that, I think, solves your problem. Anyway, that's the Marketing Minute.
This has been the Marketing Minute with Eric Rhoads. You can learn more at artmarketing.com.